afternoon, everyone. I have been asked by many of you to make a public statement about the recent events that happened last week with the United Network app. And there have been a lot of questions regarding what exactly happened and what transpired. And many of you that have been following me for a long time have seen me go from different partners, I would say media partners, social media partners, although I've been doing this job for a very long time. So I started this job somewhere around 2007, 2008 in my travels around the world. Those of you that are on Telegram have seen me posting some evidence of those travels and funding governments in the past. So there is some evidence of that there. If you do have government contacts, you will know that those documents are real and the government survived for 10 years based on that information. Now, let's talk about the company. So United Network, which did not have a name at the time, was actually a download, I call it a download from source, in which I was given parameters and to start a news channel. In order to start this news channel, I was specifically told key things had to be within that channel. Number one, average everyday persons reporting the news. That means you, our field messengers, now that you have a name. I was also told that if we could manage to do this worldwide, that we would change the face of media and the way that people receive their news, and that there would be no way to continue with media narratives, which we're all very frustrated with. Now, I had met Tank. Actually, I had reached out to Tank in 2017. We began to have conversations about why I thought and knew that the RV was not going to happen. So far, 6 years down the road, everything I told him has still been true, and there still has been no revaluation of currency, at least not in the internet version of that. So I did not meet any of his other team members at that time, and I'm pretty sure that Lisa Thomas had not been a member of the team even at that time. He was doing some conference calls and talking about information that he would receive from military personnel and a bunch of other people. So I gave him a lot of information, and then he formed for the Speak project, which is his project at the time. And he would occasionally call me and ask me about specific situations that had been going on, intelligence information, that type of thing. And I would answer him back and forth. And predominantly from that point on, our relationship was pretty much just by text, over the phone, WhatsApp. I attended a couple of his conference calls. People asked him questions. And then due to some other involvements that I had at the time, I really didn't want too much of a public presence. I had appeared once or twice on Thomas Williams' show. I appeared once on Cosmic Voice, but I really didn't have an internet presence, nor did I really want one. So the news of you're supposed to create this news channel, I'm like, oh dear, now I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do camera. I'm going to have to do all of these different things. And I don't know anything about starting a news channel or how a news channel works. But I can always trust that if source says do something, and I go with my intuition, that it'll happen. So I then reached out to Thomas Williams at the time, and I told him about what happened and that I'm supposed to start a news channel. And he said, no, you're going to talk and you're going to give all the intel to me, and then I'm going to give it to all my viewers. Well, that didn't really work out. Then I called Tank. And I asked him, because I knew he had a YouTube channel and a platform. I really didn't watch much of things. I didn't have time to watch much of things at the time. But he then agreed to do this with me. Then I was introduced at that time to all of the other team members. At the time, there was a few other people, names some of you might know if you've been around for a long time. And Lisa and Vera. So I got to know them on a daily call that would happen from Monday through Friday. And they had formed a company based on a name that we all came up collectively with, which was Lifeforce. That company was with Lisa and Stefan Rao, or Tank, as you know him. And that existed for quite a long time until things between the team became rocky back in 2022. Sorry, I apologize. Towards the end of 2021 through till, I would say, it was probably the end of 2021 is when things got really, really rocky. So by this point, it became evident that Stefan Rao, or Tank, was not going to be a part of all of this for a lot of reasons. There were some inner workings between personnel and assemblies and Kelly, and some differing of opinions of how the global organization that was going to replace the United Nations would work in an entirely new way, essentially. By the end of 2022, it became apparent that Tank didn't want to do news anymore. Our news wasn't flourishing. We weren't doing very well. And I received a call from Lisa and Vera regarding the possibility of doing this on our own. I said, okay, sorry, the end of 2021, the possibility of doing this on our own. We were looking for, at the time, another person to present the news because I'm quite busy and I can't put that much time and effort into writing scripts, and I'm not very good at it anyway, let's be honest. I've learned a lot from Sunny, and I'm grateful. By the beginning of 2022, there was a leave. In other words, Tank had left by March. Just before that, Lisa, Vera, and I had a conversation about the fact that Lisa had a company, which was all on her own, called Divina Feminina, which is the one that you'll see on your app if you were a subscriber to the old UnitedNetwork.tv. And she said at that time that she was going to add both Vera and I to the company, and that we were going to be business partners, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I explained to her at the time that UNN was supposed to become an employee-owned company, and I told her that we were going to do that when, the larger funding would come in to build a larger channel, and that way all of the shares would go to all of you. At the time, that was agreeable. Periodic conversations took place with us opening additional bank accounts, possibly being able to be on the bank accounts. I don't have a whole lot of choices here in this town as to a bank that would be in all 3 locations. So, I made suggestions on different ways we could do that. That never took place. By the end of 2022, Vera also asked again when we were all going to be put on the company and bank accounts, and we were told that we would be ASAP, which never actually took place. By the beginning in February of 2023, the app began to grow and began to function as a company, which it needed to, which means that we had field messengers by then coming in droves, and all of them understood the concept of what we were doing. And the production team, pretty much with a little bit of guidance from me, but predominantly the execution of all of the production of everything you see on United Network was done by Mike Schneider and Natalie and a few other members of the team, some of which you may or may not know. I explained I would like to make all our Telegram channels public so we are searchable somewhere. I explained some different concepts for marketing, and none of them came to fruition. I also requested some kind of a workflow program such as Trello, or there are many others out there, that would be accessible by me in relation to the GHWC, and that was also never done. I gave a 60-day period in which I wanted to see that, and it never happened. Tensions really started getting higher towards the end of, I would say, the end of the summer this year, where I was not permitted ever, actually not once, not ever, was I permitted to see an actual bank balance. Maybe once in the very beginning, but that was about it. I did have access to see the amount of income that the app was making, but no access to utilize it in any way. Of course, everything had to go through Lisa, who remained the only owner on the bank accounts, and the only signatory on the bank accounts, and the only owner of the company. Again, there were some conflicts over the last couple of months as to, can we pay for this? Can we pay for that? I would like to hire this person. I would like to hire a social media manager, as an example, and was told no. I have no idea. There have been requests from a certain person, as an example, an intricate member of our team, who had fallen on hard times and her husband was out of work. And she asked if there was a way we could assist her a couple months in a row. I asked at that time, I said, well, how much does this person need? As an amount was given to me. And I said, okay, can we afford it? And I was told, well, yeah, we can afford it. And I said, well, how much do we have? And I still didn't get any answers. So this just got worse and worse. There was a conflict about giving hats to the production team. There was a conflict over, and all the conflicts related to money. I did receive an amount equal to my rent. I do not own a home. To pay for my rent, and I received an additional $1,500 US. Initially, it started at 1,000, and then we were able to do more, and then the rising price in groceries and those types of things that happened. So it increased to $1,500 a month, with which to pay most all my utilities and food for the month, which was perfectly fine by me. Because at the time, I always knew that at least I thought, if I needed anything extra, I could have it. And in the past, prior to the rising tensions, I was always able to do that. And it would be nominal amounts. Someone was coming in town, I needed to buy somebody dinner, something like that, which would have been out of my budget based on the living expenses in where I live. So the conflict of not wanting to, for example, buy hats for the production team was when I kind of really lost it. I value all our field messengers. I value our production team. I value all of the hard work that goes in producing what you see as UNN and our various other shows. So I could not continue on with the partnership at that time. And I made an offer, and this happened, I think it was about Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Based on the fact I had been reaching out for over 10 days, and I got absolutely zero response until I threatened to cut the news off, and then Vera called me. I had a very interesting conversation with Vera about how I wanted to move the company forward, and it doesn't appear that anybody else wanted to do that. I could not possibly structure a marketing campaign or, how to spread the word in social media or anything like that without knowing how much money we have. I mean, that makes sense. You can't run a business when you don't know what you're doing, what you have. So I explained this to her. Apparently, this fell on deaf ears and things got worse from there and not any better. So I made an offer the following day. And the offer went like this. I explained that we all agreed verbally to put all three of us on the company. I explained that we would split what was in the accounts, all of the accounts, if I was provided with 6 months bank statements to show that there were no significant withdrawals or anything out of the ordinary that we would consider to be things we did not agree upon. In other words, like large withdrawals into a bank account to hide money, as an example. Now, I made the offer that I would take 1/3 of what was there. I would also retain the debt, which is the $42,000 we owe for the second year for the app, even though I am not a party to that debt, nor did I sign the contract. I also offered to pay both of their salaries and rents as it currently was until funding came through, meaning the larger amounts that we're all waiting for. And I got zero response. In exchange for providing all of these things, which I thought was more than fair, because I do care about these people. It's not like I wanted to cause them any harm, at least not from my side. And I wanted to make sure everybody was okay and felt, safe and secure, that they're, not going to get ousted to the side or anything. I also explained to them that I was going to form a company on my own, which would be a C Corp, which could then be morphed into an employee-owned corporation where everybody would have shares. And in exchange for the offer, I asked them for the app. I explained to them that I also owned personally all of the UNN logos. They are licensed to me, as well as the CARE logos, and not GHWC. That was Lisa's creation. And I explained to them that I would have all the passwords turned over to me for all of our Dropbox accounts, our cloud accounts, our websites, the app, and all of our Shutterstock accounts and our graphics accounts, and pretty much everything I was aware of that the company had been paying for on a consistent basis. I would have been amenable to looking at Zoom and stuff. I didn't even think about that, but we could have avoided this situation. Zero response from anybody. And then about Thursday afternoon is when all of the passwords to things, access to things started disappearing rapidly. They did allow us to utilize our casting software, which is what you're seeing me record in right now, we did actually have that to record the news on Friday morning. Then the second we were done with the recording, I guess they must have seen us log out or something, because everything went away. Rundown Creator went away, which is our teleprompter software. We lost all our Dropboxes, all our, a lot of graphics were lost. Our websites were pulled. We could no longer post current news on the website. We no longer could post anything to the app. And that was when we had to rapidly form the Rumble. Then I went on Telegram. I was actually working after the news on my regular work. And somebody told me about all of the slanderous statements that were made. So it was obviously that the offer was not something they wanted in any way, which is fine. It's no problem. And we were, I'm assuming probably the bank account was closed because people were paid out of a different account than they are normally paid from. So I assumed that had all taken place as well by Friday, which is fine. So there you have it. We don't have any access to this app. Apparently, there is a statement that's been made about some phone calls. And I have hours and hours of recording was the statement. And the phone calls that they're referring to are with, and I put this information on Telegram, but in case you're not on Telegram, you may want to hear it. We have a team of myself and three other people. Occasionally there's another one that pops in, and at the time in the very beginning, Lisa and Vera. Lisa and Vera maintained being on those calls and maintained recording those calls with little to no participation whatsoever. What are the calls for? We have one person on there that is an ambassador to the Council of Five that I refer to. The Council of Five has been around for a long, long time. They Under the Universal Council, we're given guardianship over this sector of the multiverse during the Dark Age, so that they could prevent a full infiltration above the fifth density. And they have been a great help and in teaching us an awful lot. We also have another party on the phone that has been 40 years a computer expert. So when we started getting down into the non-quantum section, so this is your NSA things and those types of things, she was very helpful. She's a very spiritual, very intuitive person as well. And we all work together at locating some of the things that have destroyed humanity, destroyed Earth, and destroyed the multiverse. We have another person on there that gauges through the frequencies and helps us locate problems and issues and those types of things. So we're a pretty good team together, and it has helped me greatly and conserved a lot more of my energy so I can run longer and even harder than I already was by myself. And in order to get this process done faster. And I'm sure you're all very anxious to see that happen. All of these people have chosen to remain anonymous. Therefore, I have not mentioned them by name on the news. You'll hear me mention the Council of Five occasionally. You'll hear me mention various things that they do, but you don't hear me mention them by name for a reason. They have chosen not to be public whatsoever. These calls sometimes in the very beginning would extend. They could go 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, when we were really in the thick of things. And most recently, those calls have now gone down to about, 6 to 8 hours a day, maybe. And the rest of the time, I work pretty much on my own. I have a lot of other things I do. And then, of course, there's the coordinating with other members of the GIA that, around the world that, we exchange intel information and whatnot back and forth. One of those people being the one that gave us the tip about the different cities that, probably saved the lives of millions of people on New Year's Eve this year. So where do we go from here? I would hope that people would be a little understanding and respectful of the people that chose to remain anonymous. I can't guarantee that, unfortunately. All of the girls have not signed any kind of waiver to have information received publicly. The laws in the United States here only relate to court cases and releasing admissible evidence into a court of law. Without that party's authorization, as long as both parties are aware in some states, and in some states only one party needs to be aware that the call was actually being recorded. We were all told that they were recording the calls not to potentially expose us talking about our kids or anything during processing times. I was told that they were recording it so that at one point we could do the Real History series. We also have someone on the call that takes all the notes. So we do have all our notes. We have no recordings whatsoever, and nor do I intend to pursue to try to get them. I'm pretty sure there's nothing I said in those calls that I greatly respect all of these ladies and, of course, all of you. And there's nothing I said in any of those calls that, unless they slice and dice my voice up and try to make something out of something or take somebody else's voice out and it's out of context. But there should be nothing in there. We work. We're not interested in talking badly about people or viewers or making up things. We don't, that's not who we are, and it's not what we do. We're very matter of fact and to the point. Now, as far as what is going to happen from here, I have re-reviewed our contract that Lisa had signed with Vimeo, which was our app provider at the time. And there is nothing in there at all whatsoever about asking for a refund. You can ask for a refund, and it's subject to the business owner after 10 days on an annual subscription and 3 days, I think it is, on a monthly subscription. It is up to the business owner as to whether or not they choose to refund you. That is right in the contract. If any of you want to see a Vimeo contract, I don't want to put this information out there online, but I'm sure you can call Vimeo directly and you can ask for a copy of their OTT platform contract so that you can have your legal team review it or something. And you can see that none of that information is in there. Now, for the first 10 days on an annual subscription, Vimeo will do it automatically for you. And you don't have to ask they don't have to ask the owner. Now, after that point in time, they have to ask the owner of the company, which is obviously not me, never has been me, for the refund. So if they are still refusing to give you refunds, because I feel that predominantly the app pretty much is based on our news, which is our production team and myself, that we will definitely work something out in the very near future, because I think what they did is wrong. You know, the fact that I saw some posts about we have to pay for the app in the debt. That is actually not the case, because I made them a substantial offer to not have that happen, with a substantial payout and continuous salaries, which apparently is something they didn't want. So where is UNN today? I own all our logos. I have the right to brand them any way I'd like and assign them to any company I like. And that will now be assigned to our new corporation, which we started on the evening of the 28th. So there was no planned escape, other than I planned to end the relationship, at least as far as her having singular control over, you know, all of the people's money. So our production team is intact. Everybody is super excited about all of the changes that we're going to have here at UNN, and that we're going to have expense money available to do marketing and some other things so that we can actually get the word out and grow. Once we fund, that's going to be critical, because we will need to be everywhere all of the time, and a social media manager needs to be in place. As far as the field messengers, we did retain the field messenger reports. We did retain, I think, most of the questions. I'll have to ask on that, but I'm pretty sure we did. We, like I said, lost a lot of our scripting archives and those types of things. Apparently, they think they needed them. I don't know. So, but we do intend on launching a new app ourselves. We have been looking at a couple of different providers. Bear in mind, this happened on a holiday weekend, so reaching out for pricing and contract rates and those types of things will happen probably tomorrow and through this week. Once we're contracted, the web portion of the app should be able to be up fairly quickly. There is some design work that has to happen, but it's usually fairly minimal. We also are looking at apps that have more features than ours currently does, such as a community where you can have discussions, very similar to like an Instagram kind of type thing, and not have to be on Telegram. I know a lot of people hate Telegram. So we are also looking to incorporate the store into the app, which we can do, which will not just sell merchandise, it'll sell other products too, now that we have a little more free hands as far as health and wellness things and so on and so forth. We also intend to launch the rest of the departments of care. You'll probably see them first on Telegram, probably eventually in our community as well. So you can start pulling together in the respective division that you feel resonates with you. This is Source's project. I've always considered it Source's project. I do get a lot of information about when to do what and things to do. Sorry that, you know, Not everybody agreed with that, and that's fine. But we will still continue the project and move forward. Our regular written news website, where we can broadcast as well, should be up and running, I believe, hopefully within the next few days. Once that is launched, we did manage to get some of our pieces of that together. They didn't get everything. They just took the domain name and the website. So we did manage to get some of those pieces, and I know our team is working really hard to get that relaunched as quickly as possible. Once that is relaunched, you will see a new page there called the community page. Now, the community page initially will be reserved for people who would wish to sponsor United Network. What that means is it's not an actual commercial in the news, but there you would be given a certain amount of space. You can advertise your website, your products, your services, whatever it is you want to do for whatever you feel is an appropriate amount of support. It could be $1, it can be $100. And additionally, when the new app is actually launched, which should take no longer than about 4 to 6 weeks, we should be able to transfer those sponsorships into several months free, or depending on the amount of the subscription. So you won't be losing that either. And this is a way that we can give back to you, to all of you that have supported us over the last couple of years as well. Rather than just take something as a donation, I'd rather be able to at least give back what we can give back at this moment in time, because you've given us so much, and we appreciate you. So I hope you like that part of it. In the future, it will morph into more of an advertising, so to speak, a community, for lack of a better term. They are not necessarily products or services that we would endorse one way or the other, but it allows for a marketplace for you to share yours. And so this will hopefully help all of you grow, get the word out about special products and services that you offer as well. And perhaps people would like to take a part in those. It's not for us really in any way, but just as a thank you thing, a thank you to you. And I think that pretty much wraps up. I'm pretty excited about the way forward. I feel that we will have more creative hands to bring you an even better news channel and to grow faster. We've maybe hit a little bump in the road or something like that, but it's okay. These things happen, and the world is a changing place right now, and not everybody wants to change with it. I know this happens at the right time and in Source's time, and he even said it had to be this way. As frustrating as it has been for the last couple of days, I do want to give a big shout out and a thank you to the entire production team, which, by the way, consists of probably somewhere around 50 to 60 people, some of which are volunteers and some of which are paid employees. I just wanted to say thank you so much for really stepping up to the plate. This also includes Sunny. As soon as she came back from her trip, she was right on things, recreating scripts and rundowns and all of that, so that we could get the news out to you today. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to the entire team for all of your support. We couldn't have done this without you, and we would not be up and running as quickly as we are without all of you. And thank you so much for all the work that you did throughout the year last year and on our previous app. It did look wonderful, and our next one's going to be even better. So I'm happy about that. Thank you to everyone that stepped up on our side. I appreciate very much the majority of you that have wished us well and have shown your support for both myself and our entire team. We thank you for that, and we are looking forward to building a new world with all of you. So this will be the only statement I'm going to make. I've made enough on Telegram, and I just choose to move forward. I need to live in a positive environment. I want to live at peace in my life. I don't do drama. If she releases those, great. I don't, if she wants to cut it and paste it like, Team Bubba does, cut and paste away, there's much better use for my time than to pay attention to any of that. As the old saying goes, mind over matter. And if I don't mind, they don't, and I'm going to keep it this way. So that being said, that is your public statement from me. I wish you all a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you on Rumble and YouTube for now until things are back up and running. So I wish you all a wonderful day, and we'll see you real soon.